Well, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday. I think it's the 22nd. And I thought I'd just do a short one here that I got to get posted because I did a couple other podcasts. I just haven't had the time to post them. I'm sorry. We're moving into a new store location and getting that ready for all their fucking bureaucratic inspections. It's just been a nightmare. And no, it's not for my safety or those safety of my customers. It's just bureaucratic red tape bullshit for no fucking reason. So, whatever. Especially the inspection we're having today is an occupancy inspection. So, apparently, even though the builder knows what he's doing and follows all ADA compliance rules and stuff with the handicap, they got to come in and they had to make sure our floor covering was down and all of this stuff. And so anyway, there's that last compliance inspection that's just horseshit. But so it's just been a lot of oh my god stuff, and it's a commercial building, so I'm allowing the everyone to do their job and get their inspections because I don't own the building, so I still don't give a shit. But the fight I've been having with city already on my house, so it's just tough to listen to a bureaucrat blather on about how important his fucking job is. Just really makes me want to not just vomit, but literally hurt the person. But it's Christmas season. And that's kind of what I wanted to do today, is just tell everybody Merry Christmas and say Happy New Year. We'll be going into 2022. And hopefully that year will be so much better than 2020 and 2021, but I doubt it. But we're gonna shoot for it. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. This is our goal, right? So, I'd seen a lot of stuff on Facebook about the Christmas season and all these rules and regulations. It's like, well, it's Christmas on Christmas Day, so there is no Merry Christmas like a week before, and something about the 12 days of candles, or I don't know. It just becomes really complicated. It kind of takes the fun out of Christmas. I look at Christmas as an American holiday. It's like 4th of July, Other countries like Mexico, they practice Cinco de Mayo on the 5th and all that. But we all, as Christians, want to believe that Christmas is Christmas. It's Christ Mass, which is definitely a Catholic word, Mass. But I don't look at it that way. I think history proves that Christ was actually born, during tax season, according to the Bible, that Mary and Joseph were there to pay their taxes, so they had to go to their hometown, I guess, or where they were born, to pay taxes. And so everybody was in Bethlehem that was from Bethlehem to pay their taxes. So that time of the year is historically, back then, 2,000 years ago, was not in the middle of winter. Because, it was closer to the harvest. But regardless, who the fuck cares? It's a day that we take to celebrate the birth of our Savior. And if you think it's Christmas, 25th of December, then awesome. If you think it's, during the harvest, that's when they collected taxes because everybody had their shit and they hadn't eaten it yet, so. Because taxes back then were, like you got 10 chickens, give the state or the king 2. You got all this wheat, give us some. You got all this honey, give us some. The monks made wine or mead, then it's like you gave the king some. So that's how it worked. The dead of winter, most of those supplies are getting used up, so you're going to be less likely to travel, and you sure as shit aren't going to want to be giving up a bunch of it. because you have family that you're feeding and stuff. So it would create contention. Like it's like it would make more sense to do taxes during the harvest because everyone's like, look how good I did. Sure, here you go, king. There's 2 chickens and a fucking goat. Look, I had some goats, extra goats. So everybody's like in a giving mood. Got plenty. You know, and then in the winter, it's like, oh, I wonder if we're going to make it through. It's damn cold and dying. Here practically. So anyway, that's a little off the subject, just food for thought. So I look at Christmas more as an American holiday. Maybe it's, comes from Germany and Saint Nicholas and all that stuff. And I really don't care. We have decided to use that day to honor the Christ's birth, but also to spend all of our money on Christmas present, run up our credit card, and do all this shit. And that's what we do. Just like on 4th of July, we shoot up fireworks. We don't sit there and go, well, the founding fathers, back in the days of the, Independence Day, it was actually not even on the 4th. And they didn't have, firecrackers like that. Because most of those are, because China invented, gunpowder and all this magnesium to make them pretty and explosives and all that. It was literally the rockets bursting in air. It was different kinds of rockets. They weren't fireworks. They were rockets. And so you could slice and dice that into a bunch of fucking semantics and bullshit until it was no fun either. So, Thanksgiving, is not the story we're told. In schools anymore. It's literally the story that, Rush Limbaugh used to talk about, that, the Mayflower Compact was shit. It was socialism and it had failed. And they were literally starving to death. And Captain Cook, at the time was, they had made their compact to be like, community, like a hippie commune. But, it was literally like, socialism / communism, to where everybody lived in the same community. They all put in equal, effort, and then they got what they needed. But, it started falling apart because people that were in control and lazy and typical fucking bureaucrats would get more than they produced because they didn't produce anything. They were bureaucrats. They were bookkeepers, whatever. And they're like, I should get more. And people revolted against it. And so they were hiding their food from the community stores and stuff like that, to where it got so bad that they were on the verge of dying. And so the Captain Cook, he's like, look, this is not working. And it was even in his diaries. He's like, he decided to give everybody so much land. And that was theirs. Whatever they produced, it was theirs. And he said, hopefully, we don't die. And so the next harvest and all that was so plentiful because people were working for themselves and not some fat bureaucrat in an office counting grains of fucking wheat or whatever. And so it worked out, and then it became barter and then commerce and all that. So the first Thanksgiving was because of so much plenty, and they were thankful that they fucking didn't starve to death and die. And so that was, Thanksgiving. We could celebrate it any way we want. That's how I celebrate it, because I look at it as the first time socialism was tried in America, and it failed fucking miserably because socialism always fails. It's not because of the word socialism. It's not because of, you don't like it or anything. It's just mathematically and human nature is that it fails. If you look at mice and all the little squirrels that got their stash of nuts and stuff, they're not part of a fucking community. They might be part of a family, but they're not part of the community to where they take all their nuts in and have them counted by the squirrel bureaucrat. And then he goes, well, here's 5 for you, 5 for you, 5 for you. What, Bob, what did you do? I had a bad year. I got the sciatica. Oh, well, here's 5 for you. And What about you, Jade? It's like, oh, bleeding more than normal. I got a headache. I'm cramping. Oh, well, here's 5 for you. See, it doesn't work that way. So we celebrate it, as Americans one way. But the reality is, if you want to get into the nitty gritty of it, Christmas may or may not have been on December 25th. I don't know. Don't even fucking care. Thanksgiving was different. All these holidays are different. 4th of July and the fireworks are different. So enjoy the American celebration of Christmas. I mean, it's one of the last things that we have in America that is kind of Americana. We had to drive-in restaurants, and we had to, the rock and roll music, and the, thick chrome on cars, and hot rods and muscle cars. These were things that made us different, made us great. And then we had our Bill of Rights and stuff, that they're constantly fucking with also. So the little bits of Americana that we can keep to ourselves and worship and be thankful and celebrate in our way, fucking do it and enjoy it. Don't get into the old ornery weeds and sit there going, well, back at the day, this is not what Christmas is. I think people just do that to show how smart they are, and it's like, well, we didn't do that. According to Corinthians, fucking verse this and section that and whatever, and the book of blah, blah, blah says all this crap. It's like, yeah, you're a Bible scholar. We get it. Have some fucking turkey. Have a ham. Merry Christmas. I bought you a present. Well, you didn't have to do that. It was only the 3 wise men. It's like, shut the fuck up. Open your present. Say thank you to the kids that they made it, themselves. And then just go drink. Go get drunk. So I think that's a lot of it. And, and I'm at fault at that too. It's like I'm heavy into keto. And in the philosophy of, low carb, high fat diet. And then people, will always, they'll ask me, and then I get on a fucking tirade because I read so much about it. I've gone as far as to read, Lininger's Biochemistry 101, which is a college book. I don't read the whole fucking thing, but I read, all the parts that apply to what food does when you swallow it. And listen to doctors and Dr. Berry and, Eric Berg and, Greg Ellis, who's a research biochemist, with a master's in nutrition. So I think he knows what he's talking about. And so you get all this information in there, and sometimes you want to regurgitate it out to somebody that seems interested, but, it's like, I guess you go too far. And so I'm the same way, trust me, when it comes to certain things. Politically, I've become a political purist also. So when people go, well, we all got to have skin in the game, I will go the fuck off. It's like, no, there's no skin in the game in the original Constitution. We didn't pay taxes. There was a system set up to where the government could run, but that was so fucking small that it really didn't take much, to run. And servants, that were elected basically worked for free to serve their neighbor. Now it's become jobs and stuff. So when people say skin in the game, I go ballistic. Income tax didn't start until the 20s. We survived as a great and powerful nation up until then, but and that was to pay for the war. We were powerful enough that all our allies were begging us to get into the war because Germany was kicking everyone's ass. So we weren't flopping around without income tax. We still had schools and medicine and blah, blah, blah. So I get that way, see, and with all these, private property issues, I get that way. When you talk about, electing a president, we never elected a president. We just, people, not our groups, not our cities, not our, not our states, we, the people, never elected a president. The people that made up the state elected representatives called congressmen and women that appointed electorates that voted for the president. And that was because the president represents the state, not the people. Your representative, your congressman and woman, represent you, the people. So they've gotten that all screwed up. So my point is, yes, I'm a big mouth douche also. And you know, and it's hard not to be that way, whether you're really good at firearms, you know. I'm good enough to, you know, get myself into a gunfight and get shot, probably die. But I'm not, you know, I'm not like a tactically trained marksman. You know, I just don't feel that it's going to come down to that. I think it's going to come down to mass death and people, you know, our experts that we paid to train in marksmanship are going to work for the government because the dollar will collapse. And then, boom, you know, who's going to feed your family there, you know, Colonel Bob? Well, we have fake money now that everyone has to take, and we have all the food, so fight for us. Go kill them civilians that are bitching about their goddamn Constitution. And that's what'll happen. So I don't really, you know, I'm not that good at shooting a gun. I'm pretty good at camping and hiding out and disappearing and going gray. I am great at that. So that's how I look at it. So we all get that way, and I'm thinking Christmas is, you know, I love Thanksgiving. You know, it's a family thing. And since my son started doing a tradition of Christmas dinner with the family at his house, you know, I make it an effort to be there. You know, it's like, no, this is tradition. It's his tradition. It's awesome that he started that and does it and wants it to be fucking mandatory. So we go there because it's important. And they're neat holidays. Everyone gets together and they just laugh and talk about mindless bullshit. And my son's friends all like drink really customized, you know, drinks. They're into the, have you tried this, you know, bourbon? No. Have you tried this vodka? It's like, oh yeah, I heard that's really good. And we all just get a really good buzz and maybe go outside and smoke some really good cigars and just enjoy each other's company. And that's what Christmas is to me. All the rest of the year, I think about my beliefs in God and being a good person and trying to be better than I was yesterday, last year, whatever. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is allow Christmas to be just an awesome time of the year where you can be with your family, because at the end of the day, it's all about family. It's all about really good friends. If you don't have family, then your friends have become your family. You know, maybe you lost parents and stuff, you know, at Christmas time. You know, a friend of ours, you know, just a few days ago was in a car wreck and died because 7 kids. Christmas will always be a kind of one of those things that are just kind of like, you know, I was really young, but I hate Christmas. Everyone was so sad. So make it a happy time for everyone. It's a family time. And the rest of the year, you can worry about your salvation and whether Christ was right-handed or left-handed. You know, if he was, you know, black or white or fucking brown or yellow, who the fuck cares? You got 364 days to figure that out, find a belief structure, and live by it and shut the fuck up. Because Christ doesn't care really how much you talked about him. Even though you were wrong, you were trying. He just wants certain things out of you, and that's that. It was very cut and dry. Do this. You're good. So anyway, I said it was going to be short, but as usual, I fucking blathered on for 20 minutes. Why don't y'all have a Merry Christmas? Buy your favorite person some ammo. Oh, fucking reminds me, shit. Somebody told me I should try a website to get ammo, because every time I go to some of the websites, even cheaper than dirt, you can't get anything because they're either out or they don't sell it online anymore because, you know, the fucking government's raping our rights. So he told me I gotta, fuck, now I even gotta go look it up, see what he said, and get some more ammo because he buys it in bulk. And he was saying, I think it was Midway USA. Midway USA. And he said, you know what? He goes, the trick is when you order it, buy something else like a clip or a fucking T-shirt, whatever you do, and then they will put all your ammo and your thing you bought from them in a box, and then that way when you get your ammo from UPS, it says Midway USA, and they don't know that it's ammo. If you just order, like a crate of whatever 9mm, it's going to come in a big box that says 9mm ammo, jacketed hollow point, And he goes, then my UPS guy knows now that I got 1,000 rounds of fucking 45 or whatever, 5.56. So I thought that was a good idea. So that's my gift for all of my listeners on Christmas. If you buy ammo from a lot of these bulk companies that still do send it out, you'll notice that if you don't order anything else from them other than the ammo, it will come in its original case, box that will say what it is. And you really, in today's world, don't want your delivery guy knowing too much about any fucking thing. So that's my tip of the year. I love you guys all, and honestly, in spite of all my fucking ramblings, have a Merry Christmas. I hope next year is fucking way better than this year. And I will talk to you probably next year. So I can honestly say I'm not going to do another podcast until next year. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
We made too many compromises already. Too many retreats. They invade our space, and we fall back.
I'm your huckleberry.
The line must be drawn here. This far, no farther.
That's just my game.